And here we've got Project M's 2017 Pinot Noir from Filament Vineyard. Filament Vineyard is from the Eola Amity Hills section of the Willamette Valley, which in my mind is one of the most distinctive sub-appellations of the Willamette Valley. That area is really dominated by wind. It's very windy. It's right near a pass in the Coast Range, allowing a lot of coastal, cool, moist air to come inland towards this part of the Willamette Valley. And what does that do? That really helps guarantee a slow, steady ripening, which Pinot Noir in particular really likes. It also makes it really windy, as I mentioned. And what does that do for grapes? As the grapes get battered around by the wind throughout the growing season, it makes the skins tougher. And as we know, the skins are where the tannins and colors are. And so with a lot of wines from the Eola Amity Hills, you almost have this paradoxical effect of these very dark Pinot Noirs because of the thick skins contributing a lot of color, but the cool, windy climate really tempering the ripeness, keeping the wines really bright and tart and just full of just a real range of different berry flavors that you'll find throughout different expressions and different stylistic approaches that you'll see different winemakers take in that part of the Willamette Valley.
Yeah, but I love these classic markers of the cherry, raspberry, mushroom, tobacco. This is cola. This is in my wheelhouse. This is the type of Pinot I love.
It has a combination of both power and nuance that I really love. And some other parts of the Willamette Valley, you tend to find some of these very light, ethereal Pinot Noirs. And there's still a lot of subtlety, there's still a lot of finesse to this wine, but it's a combination of, the how much flavor a lot of these vineyards are able to compact into these wines while still giving you lots of different nooks and crannies to explore.
Yeah, speaking of exploring, I love exploring wine country, and I know not everyone has time to do that. And that's one of our whys at Rising Wines Collective, to find these great small production winemakers. So a few years ago, I visited a collective called Carlton Winemaker Studio in Oregon, and that's where I found Project M's Pinot Noirs. They were a micro winery at about 400 cases a year, and they are steadily growing while still remaining small. And winemaking collectives can be essential for small batch production. It's a collaborative atmosphere where they can all share equipment. And Jerry Murray is the winemaker for Project M, and his winemaking passion comes from the experience of wine, sharing, and how it pairs with and can enhance food. And this one, I think, is going to go really well with the smoked salmon that we have paired with this.
Compared to a lot of other places on the west coast of the United States, we tend to see a little bit more vintage variation, so differences in flavor from year to year, in the Willamette Valley. This is due to the overall more variable and more marginal weather we'll often see in this relatively cool and wet part of the country.
And I would love to see how this develops over the next 3 years. So, I don't know. Pinot Noir, to me, this one you can open now. But I don't know, if I had extra bottles, I would just open one every year, every 6 months, just see how it evolves.
And the vineyard aside, from a winemaking and winemaker style perspective, most, if not many, winemakers in the Willamette Valley are making their wines to stand up to last 10, 20 years. So these are really wines that you can let go on a journey.
Oh, easily. So cheers to journeys.